My name is Pearl, and I'm one of the girlies who runs the Pearl and Honey Bookclub account on Instagram, on Threads, on Substack, everywhere. We're a romance book club where we talk about and celebrate romance books, romance authors, romance readers, and all things romance. Every subgenre of romance, from contemporary romance to dark romance to romantasy. We love it all. We're here for it. We're here to celebrate it. We're starting our author series where we get to talk to the incredible artists and incredible authors who write these books that we love and that we enjoy and that we obsess over. And for our first episode, in just a short while, an incredible author will be joining us. Her name is R. Alexander, and she's the author of a book that we were so lucky to get an arc for called The Thief's Captive. It's a dark mafia romance, which we absolutely loved, and she'll be joining us shortly. And yeah, keep watching. I hope you enjoy the conversation. I got to interview her, and it was such a beautiful conversation. So keep watching, and we get to talk about everything that I love and we loved about the book and her inspiration and her thought process while she was writing it. And we get to talk about the characters and everything. So, yeah, stay tuned and we'll be right back with our Alexandra.
It is
Um,
so nice
who
to
am I
meet
talking
you.
to? Pearl or Honey?
Pearl. Pearl.
Pearl. Okay,
Yes.
nice to meet you.
Hi, it is very nice to meet you. I'm so excited to be talking to you today.
Yeah, thank you so much for setting this up.
First of all, I have to tell you, I absolutely 100%. Like I think I was in your DMs a lot when I was reading The Thief's Captive. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Thank you
Like
so much. I'm so happy. I'm so happy people are liking it.
it's wonderful. Like I'm very excited to talk to you about it today. My friend and I couldn't stop talking about it. And we were like, we have to talk to her. We have to do an interview and like try to dig into it a little bit more. So thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No, but the pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much for setting it up.
Awesome. So let's just like jump right in. This is probably like an obvious question, but what was like the inspiration behind the story? Like why did you choose to tell this story?
I originally wanted to make it an enemies to lovers story, but
Hmm.
enemies to lovers are very difficult to write because they have to have like a real reason why they hate each other. So when I
Hmm.
first started writing the story, I was like, this should be enough. Like there's a reason why they should hate each other. But then it kind of snowballed and I couldn't really write it that way. So then it became a story of how, I really like writing about men who are like very big, bad, but then
Yeah.
for their women, they are kind of all teddy bears. And it just so happened that Alex is the biggest teddy bear of all.
Oh God,
Um,
yes.
and obviously, I think Jade's background took like became a very big part of it
Hmm.
because there are so many stories like that in the real world, and I think that she's kind of faced with two things. She's faced with domestic abuse, but
Yeah.
also manipulation and
Hmm.
emotional and psychological abuse. So there's
Yeah.
like two things that were happening at once. And I thought that it could be a story of healing. A lot of people go through that, and then they kind of struggle with that, and they can't really let it go. But maybe for her, this journey would be that, she's not healed because of a man. There's just
Hmm.
someone there to help her
Yeah.
find herself again. So yeah, that's kind of how it became. It was supposed to be an enemies to lovers, but then, like when you write, sometimes it doesn't really work out that way.
Yeah.
The
Like the
character,
characters kind of just tell you what they want to be.
yes, which is why I think he initially fell so fast because I was like, I need to kind of drag it out, make it a little bit more enemies, but I just couldn't. Like it didn't work.
Oh, no, no, no. That makes sense because it turned out wonderful.
Thank
Um,
you.
I really, really enjoyed like Jade's characterization. There's this conversation that's happening a lot in like bookish spaces. And I think I made a video about this on my Instagram like few weeks ago about how harshly FMCs get judged much more than male main characters, which is like very similar to how we judge women in real life. So that's not a shock there. But I
Yeah.
really loved like Jade's characterization. I love that like she's funny, she's chaotic, she's emotional, she's angry, she's sweet, she's all these things, and she gets to express like the full range of her emotions. Was that something that you were conscious of when you were building her character?
I'm not sure. I think I just tried to write a woman who would be in that circumstance and what would she
Hmm.
be like? Because I think that I agree with you. Women are judged, or FMCs are judged way more harshly than men. Like,
Hmm.
MMCs, they kind of anything they do is really not a sin. Like there's only like a few things that they could do that people are like, no, 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 I'm not going to read this. But where
Hmm.
with a woman, anything she kind of does, anything she says, like, oh, she's annoying, oh, she's this, oh, she's that. So Jade really kind of was a bit of everything and everybody. And I think the fact that she wasn't allowed to be who she really is within her real life, and then with Alex, she kind of bloomed into who she is. So yes, in a way, I tried to be conscious of that, but really, I just tried to put myself in her shoes and feel, she has this fire inside her, which I think she had to suppress. Um, but she is, and women are very multifaceted. We can be really
Yeah.
funny. We can be very angry. We can be, very mysterious and very empathetic and all these things. And also, at the end of the day, I think that you will find that kind of in all my books is that the woman then saves her man in a way.
Hmm.
So, there's a transformation. So she at the end became the criminal mastermind, right? Even
Yeah.
though she's an attorney.
Yeah.
So
As you
I've
say
loved that
that,
transformation for her.
yeah, as you say that, it reminds me of this video of Reese Witherspoon where she's like, I don't know if you've ever seen it, where she's talking about how in every script she used to get like given,
Yes.
she'd get all the things that people are like, the woman is
What do
asking
we,
the
what do we
man,
do?
what do we
Yes.
do? And she's like,
Yes.
when have you ever known a woman to say, what do we do?
Exactly. Yes. And I've seen that video multiple times,
Mhm.
and it really made me think, first of all, the fact that she was getting scripts like that, and also why there's that perception, because I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know a woman who would be like, what do we do now? What do we do now? Like, I don't know. The woman
Yeah.
is, she always has a solution.
Yep.
She always has a resolution. So, and I really liked that Jade was the one that at the end, not at the end, really like throughout the story, she was
Mhm.
the one that came up with all these ideas. And I think because
Yeah.
Alex was in love with her, he couldn't focus really on anything else. And she was the one who kind of like stepped up.
Yeah, he was so down bad.
He really
I
was. He really
loved
was that
it.
bad.
Another thing that like I really enjoyed about the book, like which is really connected to there's always, I'm sure you're in bookish spaces on threads on Twitter and wherever where we talk about romance books. There's always the people who judge the romance genre for just being smut or just being
Yeah.
sex. And I mean, I've always like been like sex is a part of intimacy. It is not all there is to intimacy, but it is a part of it. And I think that's especially true for Jade and Alex because one of the first times where they're intimate, it's kind of like Jade kind of getting her power back in a
Hmm.
way. And as someone who writes dark romance, what do you think the importance of sex and intimacy is in these stories? And what do you think audiences or readers should learn from it?
That's a great question. I'm gonna confess something. I've actually before never read any books that had erotica, like erotic scenes or
Mm-hmm.
sex scenes, mostly because when I was growing up,
Mm-hmm.
romance wasn't a genre that was in my household. I can't say it wasn't allowed, but it was just not something that we had in our library.
Yeah.
And as you grow up, like, you read like what you have at home and whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when I first read a book that had like a sex scenes, um, it kind of like opened up a whole, obviously a whole new world for me, a whole new genre. Um, I think that it obviously depends on what your book is. Like there's straight up erotica that makes up the majority of the plot. But I think because, we write about grown-up lives, I think sex is an integral part of our
Mm-hmm.
life,
Mm-hmm.
especially for these people because they are falling in love. Like love and sex really are intertwined. Um, and I think that every single book has a different vibe. But for me, for the books that I write, sure, there's like some straight up just fun sex scenes, but
Mm-hmm.
usually there's some sort of character transformation or there's some sort of character discovery
Yeah.
that they do through the sex scenes, either together or just for one person. So I think that there's really, I don't know. I mean, obviously there are books are closed door that don't have any sex scenes, but I don't know how I could take it out. Like I wouldn't be able to take it out.
Hmm.
But I also enjoy that writing about that part of their lives again because it's so important to them, I find.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. Like, I think it's I've always thought that like sex is part of the plot in the book. It's not just there just for the sake of it. Like sometimes it's just like it's just fun. Maybe the characters meet and like we have a one night stand and it's just
Yeah.
fun. But there, I think I found that in a lot of the books that I read, the sex scenes have a lot of like character development happening in those intimate moments, either as the characters as individuals or them as a couple or a throuple or white shoes or
What have you?
whatever.
Yes.
But there's something happening.
Yeah.
There's a discovery happening. So yeah, no, I really agree with you. Now, another thing that really like is another theme that like goes through the book is themes of like toxic masculinity. Like they're explored in like the two very different ways with Sebastian, which is Jade's father, who sees her as just like basically property to be transferred from father to husband. And like that's her entire like function in life. And then there's Xavier, who is an incredibly abusive partner. And like in both of these cases, somehow it's Jade's fault that they're behaving this way. Why did you choose to explore like themes of like abuse, manipulation, toxicity in this way, like with these characters? Like, why was it important for you to explore it this way?
I think because it happens so much and we have normalized it, especially for women.
Yeah.
I think a lot of women, when they're little girls, they grow up in an environment that's very patriarchal, maybe misogynistic. And I think that a lot of women have internalized misogyny that we don't understand when we are younger. And as time goes on, we understand what's happening. Um, a lot of the things that Sebastian did or said, I can bring examples from people I know, or perhaps even from my life. Like I had a wonderful dad, but there are certain things that, as you get older, you realize that, oh, that was that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, and I think with Xavier, I really try to, I really try to make a complete opposite of Alex.
Hmm.
Um, And I think he embodies kind of a lot of the things that I don't know if it's men now or men always feel like they can treat a woman, that she is property.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to kind of, obviously in a book, because it's a character and you have a short amount of time, you have to put all these characteristics in these characters that are amplified, right? But I just think that because we face it all the time, like maybe it's not as toxic, but we internalize it and it takes us a very long time to figure it out. So perhaps somebody who's younger than me, will be able to read this book and be like, I recognize some of this manipulation in my real life. And they can maybe take a stand against it.
Yeah. No, that, you know, what's crazy is that like I think that is one of the things that people just don't understand about a lot of romance books is that for a lot of women, especially, and I use women because I know that a lot of people with different gender identities do read this book, but women are predominantly like the demographic for romance. And for a lot of women, this is the first time that they're encountering what it looks like to be in like a healthy dynamic from
Hmm.
relationships, like romantic relationships, friendships, parental relationships. And like it's so because it's so women centered, like I found it to be so healing, like for me
Hmm.
personally. And like, yeah, I think it's something that people tend to underestimate about romance. That's why I'm such a huge fan of the genre, because I think it does a lot. And just more to my point, like taking back power, right? It's not an easy thing. And for a lot of
Hmm.
women, marginalized people, like our power just gets stripped from us from when we're really young, where we feel
Yes.
like we're not allowed to have power. We're not, it's like, what do you mean? You're a woman, you want power? What? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And for Jade, like it's kind of like throughout her journey in this book, it's kind of like her discovering herself and like coming back and getting back the power that's been stolen from her. And we see
Hmm.
her do it in all of these unconventional ways, like first just falling in love with her kidnapper and basically just turning the entire plan upside down. And then when she destroys Xavier, which I think I was in your DMs when I was reading that part and I was screaming. because I was obsessed with it. Like the fact that she got to express her rage, I was like, that's my girl. I loved it. And then like the way that she kind of gets them out of this mess with the tape, which is really unconventional, but I really enjoyed all of this ways just because I think these are things that women get shamed for, liking
Yes.
sex, enjoying it, wanting it. Um, the ability to just feel our anger and get to express it. Why was this the way that you chose to like do write Jade's journey? Like, why did you choose this unconventional, kind of totally just? I loved it, but like, why did you choose this really interesting, like, strange ways for her?
I thought about what would be the most painful thing for her father.
Hmm.
Um, and because he tried to control her entire life, I thought that what she did um, was probably going to break him the most because he saw her as his property. And also because, yes, um, women do get shamed quite a lot for taking
Yeah,
control of that part of their life.
yeah,
Which is ridiculous because on these platforms, most of the subscribers are men. So men are, or the society, I don't know, are upset that women are in control
hmm,
and that they're making money
yeah,
off of what people are happy to pay for.
hmm,
So I think just in general, that really pisses me off because I think that a woman should have a choice to do what she wants to do. I had this line in the book, which I ended up taking out because I had an epiphany. I'm sure you know that the saying that, prostitution is the oldest profession in the world.
yeah,
So I had that line in the book, and then I thought about it, and I said, well, I thought, why is that the oldest profession in the book? And I thought probably because women were forced into it
hmm,
from the beginning of time. Like,
yeah,
I don't think back then a woman would really choose, back then when this profession started, would you just choose to do that? So I took that out, but then I put something else in where Jade now is in control. And I also
hmm,
really wanted to put this, there's a juxtaposition where she cries for real. And Alex offers her, he says, why don't we just use water for your tears to fake your tears?
hmm,
And then at the end of the book, she does fake her tears. So I thought
hmm,
that was really important for me to show because she makes the decisions. She's in control. Um, and she's putting on a show in order to save herself. So I thought
yeah,
about what would be the most painful thing for her dad. And it was that. Like it wouldn't be I don't want to give it away. I had a few options, but basically
yeah,
I thought it's gonna be the most painful for her dad, but
yeah,
also something that she was fully in control of.
hmm,
Because I also mentioned in the book that Xavier made her wear what he made her wear. A short dress and really high heels. So he was really in control of her image. But here she decided what she
hmm,
wanted to do. And she was
hmm,
the one who made the scene and she was the one who figured out how she wanted it done, right?
hmm,
So that was really important to me that she would take back her control and that she wasn't forced to do anything.
yeah.
And she was finally free to kind of figure out what she wanted to do.
I know. I really like I enjoyed it. Like it was I like sometimes you read a book and it just kind of really stays with you. Like I have so much of this book annotated, but we've been talking about Jade and I want to talk about Alex for a bit because I loved him. Like first of all, I think I told you this on Instagram when I was like a
Yes.
Russian man named Sasha is like catnip for me. That's like my favorite
That's so
Russian
funny.
name because I've always had a thing for like Russian names. I don't know where that came from, but I love it. And like Sasha is like one of my absolute
It's a
favorites.
good name. It's a good name. Sasha's a
I
good name.
know it really is. And he's so like strong and supportive and amazing and protective, but he's never stifling to Jade. She feels so safe with him, which is odd because that is the last person that she should feel safe with, like at least based on how they met. But
Yeah.
somehow, like I think in my review of the book, I wrote that sometimes like freedom looks completely different than what we think, and this is how she found her freedom. And like, what was it like developing his character and like straddling this line between his darker side, um, his less than legal activities, who he was to Jade and for Jade? Like, what was that like?
Obviously, like when you write a morally gray MMC, you kind of have to figure out what lines he's willing to cross and what lines he's not willing to cross. The one of the reasons why I brought in a supporting character of his ex-girlfriend because I kind of wanted to show that when it came to women, he was not morally gray. I
Hmm.
think one of the things that I can't write, or I haven't written yet, is an MMC being deliberately mean, uh, aggressive to really any woman. So, obviously, something happened between him and Gianna where he kind of got the upper hand. But even then, it was so easy because it's a mafia romance,
Yeah.
um, to have him basically just, unalive her.
Yeah.
Um, but I decided against that. I wanted to show Alex in a light that he was, Jade calls him a misogynist right at the beginning, and he was really mad at that. He was really pissed off. So he was okay being called everything else except for that. So I just really wanted to show that he cared for women, and he saw them as an equal, or as a better half, I guess.
Hmm.
But with the other dark side, like his mafia dealings and whatever else, I think like that's a little bit easier to write because um I mean it's a mafia world, so really like they're really all involved in all kinds of bad
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I think you will find that any MMC I have written so far, they are I think they like women respect for women is an important part for them. And I also can't write like a which is why I think enemies to lovers was really difficult because like you need the hate at the beginning. And I
Yeah.
couldn't I couldn't figure out how he could hate her.
Yeah.
He tried.
He tried so hard. Like, I remember the scene, the part when like he couldn't sleep. He was literally delirious. And
Yeah.
he was like, I just want to see her. And I just want to be next to her. And I'm like, yeah, he tried. He just couldn't. He could not hate her. Even like it was just like an impossible situation for him.
Yeah.
Um, so are there any people, fictional, non-fictional, maybe characters that you've watched or read about in different things that kind of inspired the way you wrote Alex or Jade or any of the characters, Xavier, Gianna, Seb, anyone?
I don't know. I think they're all just archetypes that you come across in your life, right?
Yeah,
Obviously, people you write about, or people you read about, people you watch movies about, and definitely people you meet in your life.
yeah.
I think everybody has a little bit of everything in them. It's just that the villains are amplified, obviously,
Hmm.
in this book. But I think Jade, like the dedication, it took me so long to come up with a dedication because I tried to put into words what I felt about this book, but it really is for everybody. And I think it probably is most women who have ever been, told that you're too loud, you're too much,
Yeah.
you're too emotional, you're too sympathetic, you're too
Hmm.
empathetic, you're
Hmm.
too much, that you're too angry. Um, and every time we're told this, we try to mold ourselves into a shape.
Yeah.
Um, and really, like, I don't think I've ever met a woman who wasn't told that she was too loud, at least, or
Wow.
her laugh was too
Yeah.
loud, or something of the
Yeah.
sort. I also really wanted to put it in the book, things that Alex liked about her. So he really loves her laugh. I feel
Hmm.
like a lot of women, when they laugh loudly, we're always told, you should be polite and you should laugh,
Yeah. Like we're cartoon characters.
which is also an acceptable way to do it. But when you're
Yeah.
told to be a specific,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's kind of what dampens your fire. So I thought
Hmm.
that he was the one who helped her burn bright. And I think a lot of the other men in her life were the ones who were continuously trying to, dampen the fire.
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna lie, I hated Xavier, obviously, but I think I somehow hated Sebastian even more.
Yeah, I
Oh
think
my
I think
God.
Xavier was just kind of like just like a shitty person. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but also with Sebastian, it was you can't pick your family, right? You can't pick, and
No.
because he was a figure of authority for Jade for her entire life,
Yeah.
and he was also a father,
Hmm.
so she wasn't like a person he just like met on the street, so there should have been some paternal or you know feelings for him that he should have protected her, which
Yeah.
yeah.
Like there's this scene when this is not gonna come out until after the book, so I hope it's not a spoiler.
Okay.
It's not. But there's this scene when she's with Xavier and they're sitting down and her dad is sitting in front of them and she's so like lifeless when she thinks the love of her life is dead, and she's just like her life is over, and she's
Yeah.
in so much pain, and like I could feel her pain so deeply, and I'm just like, how could he sit there and see her suffer in this way, and he's still like, yeah, you should marry this guy. I wanted to shake him.
Yeah,
I
I think that that
yeah,
happens quite often in life
yeah, yeah,
where parents or figures of authority are so set
yeah,
on a specific set of rules. It doesn't
hmm
even matter what they are. I think they just want their rules to be respected.
yeah,
And I also feel that there's a lot, um, I think this is like there's a lot of parent and child communication here where parents just completely disregard their kids' needs and wants because
yeah,
they feel that they know better.
yeah,
And I feel like it's a very detrimental approach to parenthood,
hmm
because they obviously ignore the child's. I don't know what that
yeah,
happens, to be honest with you. Like I
yeah.
think about a lot because I am a parent, so I always try to think, how do I talk to my kids and all of this, especially because like I'm a millennial. I'm like anxious about it all the time. But I feel
hmm
like a lot of parents are not anxious about it, and I think that
Yeah,
they mess with kids.
yeah. So I wanted to ask, my favorite, there's a lot of movies that I loved about this book, but one of my favorite, like absolute like favorite lines that has just stayed with me is I think Alex says it to Jade first and then she says it to him like at the end
Mhm.
where he's like, I can keep all the pieces in my hand. I think about it and I want to cry. Like, how did that line happen? Was it like in every draft you were just like, this has to be in this? Like how, because it is so beautiful. It is
Thank
so
you.
honestly so beautiful. It is such an incredible line because it sounds so simple, but it's just so much. Like, how did you come up with that?
I don't know how I came up with that. I ended up rewriting this book completely. This
Oh,
book was
really?
finished. This book was finished for 2 years. And then I had an editor go through it, and then she gave it back to me in February. And I read it again, and I was like, I don't like it. So February, March, April, May, I ended up rewriting the entire book. So the storyline stayed the same,
Mhm.
but so many of the scenes changed. And this scene where he says it to her first, I wrote in April. And the scene where she says it to him, I wrote it like very recently. And that scene really made me cry because I felt like that was kind of them being so apprehensive and really not understanding really what's going on. And I wanted to have something linking them because she was broken at first and then he was broken. So they really are meant for each other. Like they're there to hold each other together.
Yeah.
I don't know how that line came apart. It just felt so much like them. Like they
Yeah.
were there for each other and they would accept each other no matter what the other person was like, right? You know what I
hmm
mean? Even if you are broken, they would be there for each other. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
do like that line too. That scene really made me cry. Like that last one where they
Oh
kind of
my
like
God.
reconnect.
Yeah.
It really made me
It is,
cry.
it's so beautiful. Like I get chills when I think of it. I'm just like, "What an incredible line." And it's such an incredible thing to say because like to be seen so clearly and to feel like you don't have to hide any parts of yourself because the person that you love the most is gonna hold all of those pieces and cherish them. Oh, beautiful, incredible, loved
Thank
it.
you.
We'll always think about that line.
Thank you.
Um, so I can't wait to read the rest of the series because now I'm just like I need to read everything that you've ever written because honestly, this was my first book of yours that I read, and I'm really really glad that I got to read it. But ultimately, what do you want people to take away from this story?
I think I really want people to take away from that's a really good question. So many things. I think there were so many dynamics in there. I really want people to take away that not everything is what it seems.
Yeah,
I think that's my biggest takeaway is that because Alex obviously was who he was, a thief, a criminal, but he ended up being somebody completely different. And Jade, everything looked amazing for her on the outside, but she was hurting so much inside. So I think I want people to know that there are different sides to everybody. There was a different side to Alex. He wasn't just a thief, he wasn't just a criminal. And there was a different side to Jade too. She wasn't just like and I think what she also said, she said, I never thought this would happen to me.
Hmm.
It kind of makes me cry too,
Yeah.
because nobody thinks those things could happen to them, and
No.
they could happen to anybody. So
Yeah.
I think like it's don't judge a person by what we assign to them, what their title is assigned to them by society.
Yeah. No, I think that's really beautiful because you're right. Like so many women have these experiences, like in because you think you're safe with someone, and then it's like it goes from okay, this is fine, maybe not great, to like absolutely horrible. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
then you know what? You're in the dynamic, so
Hmm.
it's so hard. You hear so many stories from women that a lot of people say, "Well, why didn't you leave?" Well, it's impossible
It
to
is
leave.
impossible.
And then it's the victim blaming, and I think there was a lot of
Hmm.
victim blaming here too from her dad. Is like, well, you
Yeah.
didn't do this. This was your fault.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not the victim. Like that's what she says. She's like, you're lured into this deep, dark traps
Yeah.
these people set for you that it's
Yeah.
very difficult to climb out of them.
Hmm. Okay. So we're gonna switch gears for a bit. I want to do a bit of like rapid fire before
Sure.
we end our amazing interview, but I cannot wait for everyone to read this book. So we're just gonna go quick and see.
Okay.
Okay, my first question is if you could write one trope forever, what would it be?
Bad boy versus good girl.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a really great trope. I love it. That's a really good one. What was the first romance book you ever read? Do you know?
First one I ever read.
Mm-hmm.
I
Or the
probably
first one that made like a imprint, the first one that imprinted on you.
I really don't know. I really can't answer because I never read a lot of romance books, and right now I don't have
Mm.
time to read. Here's one. Okay. I recently read um Love, which the one by Ali Hazelwood. Love, not theoretically, but
Hypothesis?
yes, Life
Love
Hypothesis.
Hypothesis? Oh, okay. That's a really
I
good
love
one.
that book. I read that
Yeah.
book, and then as soon as I finished it, I started it like immediately again to read it one more time. I really loved that book.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good one. Do you have a favorite book?
A favorite book, it just
Yeah.
in the
Like
world?
just in general, like a book that's like, yeah, this is my favorite one.
No, I don't have a favorite book.
That's a really hard question, I think,
This
because
is,
I can't
I think
tell
it's
you.
a question. I don't have a favorite book. No, I have some favorite like genres, but
Okay.
there's not really a book that I could say is my absolute favorite.
Okay. Well, my next question is, what's your favorite genre to read?
I really love mystery. Mystery is probably my favorite genre.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So what is your favorite, like, do you have a favorite like romance book to screen adaptation? Like something that's already been adapted, that was adapted from a romance book. Do you have any favorite ones?
I'm very boring because I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm like a hermit, Um, I don't really watch a lot of TV.
Hmm.
But I can say that I have a favorite, let's say, do you know those wuxia movies? They're movies usually set in very old China, and
Oh,
it's a lot of it's martial arts movies, but like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. But
yeah.
there's a romance involved in it.
Hmm.
And so those romance stories, I really love those movies.
Okay.
They're, I guess, adapted from old tales.
Yeah.
So I think those would be, I really love those movies.
Okay, that's good. What is a book that you've read that made you think, wow, I wish I wrote that?
Oh my God, so many. I think I always go back to a Russian classic called Master and Margarita. I think
Hmm.
that that book kind of changed the way that I read books and that I assumed books were written
Hmm.
because there's just so much in there. Love, hate, good, bad, and love, and like the love story.
Yeah.
So I really like Master and Margarita by Bulgakov.
Okay. What is you said you don't watch a lot of stuff, but I'm still gonna ask you this. What is a film or TV show that you've watched that you thought would make a great book?
That would make a great book.
Yeah.
Gosh, you're really putting me on the spot here. Um, I don't know. I have to get back to you on that. I
Okay.
can't. I'm blanking on anything I've recently seen. I guess you know what I don't know if actually was adapted from a book. I recently watched a show called Shogun.
Oh, that's a really good one. I think
That's really good.
I think it was adapted from a book. I
I
don't
think it
remember, but
may have
that's a
been
really good
adapted.
show.
So that show also really made left a very serious impression on me. I think that in book form, that's probably
Yeah,
lovely too.
it is a really good show. What is a book that you've read in the last year that has stayed with you?
That has stayed with me.
Yeah.
I haven't finished it, but I'm almost close to finishing it because I've been editing and writing so much. I'm reading Remarkably Bright Creatures.
Hmm.
And because now that I write books, I really notice like how things are edited and how they're written. And I think that
Yeah.
that flows so well. I just
Hmm.
haven't had a chance to fully finish it.
Hmm.
But I really like that one.
Okay. When did you know you wanted to be a romance author?
I really don't know. I still don't know. I just still don't think I'm a romance author. I
Well,
wrote the
you
first
are because
book.
you're writing great romance.
I know I wrote the first book 3 years ago, and I just
Hmm.
really loved the characters. And after that,
Hmm.
a whole world was born. So
Well, thank you. We're grateful. This is good news for us, the readers.
thank
I'm
you.
really grateful. So if you could write a different genre apart from romance, what genre would you choose?
Probably thriller. I
Oh.
think a thriller would be really fun to write.
Hmm.
Mostly because like you could put in like crazy plot twists
Yeah.
that people don't see coming.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, well, you did really good. This was
Thanks
a
so
fun
much.
rapid fire question. Before we go, thank you so much. Oh wait, I have one last question actually. Is this the last book in this series, or is there going to be more books in the series? Do you
So
know?
I think there's gonna be 8 books in this series, maybe more, because what happened was I finally figured out how all the MMCs are connected to each other.
Okay.
And I'm not going to reveal it yet.
Yeah.
There will be a big reveal at some point.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of them. So I have one already written, one I'm
Awesome.
working on right now. And then the first book in the series is going to have two more sequels. So yeah, there's going to be, I think, 8.
Okay, awesome. I'm very excited. Yay, because it'll be
Thank
so
you.
fun to dive like more into this world. And like one of my favorite things about like interconnected standalones is getting to see glimpses of the lives of the other couples. Like, yeah,
Yes.
that is, I'd love
So
to write.
I think I'm gonna continue with the cameos.
Yeah,
But I really want to keep every standalone a standalone that you can read
yeah,
it, you don't have to read
yeah,
anything else. But
yeah.
I will put like little, quips and
Tiny
characters so
things
that
here and there.
you kind of, oh, who's this guy? Or who's this person?
Awesome. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Oh my gosh, I'm really, really glad that you agreed to do this. Thank you
Yeah,
very, very
absolutely.
much. This has been really fun. I hope you've had fun because I've had a lot of
Yes,
fun.
absolutely. Your questions were wonderful. Really made me
Oh,
think.
thank you
Um,
so much. I appreciate that. I
Thank
really
you so
because
much for setting this up.
yeah, because when we started our book club, my friend and I were really thinking that we wanted to create a space where we could really celebrate like romance authors, romance readers, romance books as like an actual literary art form, which is what they are. And so talking to authors is one of the ways that we figured just to get to know more of their thinking books. It's like I've never picked up a romance book where I felt like this is just nothing, but there's something to say. There's something it's
Yes.
saying. There's something I'm learning. There's a quote that I'm not. It's usually attributed to Buddha, but I don't know if it's an actual Buddha quote. But it's something, and I'm paraphrasing. It's something about if you're a learner, you're learning from everything. Like there's
Hmm.
just always something to glean. There's always something to learn, and I feel like there's such a wealth of knowledge and emotions and things to learn in romance books. And so, yeah, I'm really, really glad that I got to talk to you today. Thank you so
No.
much.
Thank you so much for setting it up. And I hope that, you get a chance to speak to a lot of authors because yeah, every author has a piece of their heart in a book.
Yeah,
And you should absolutely continue promoting romance books, mostly because it is the highest selling genre
it
and
is.
and it's very women focused.
It
And
is.
every single reader I've come across, first of all, this is a very women centric industry. And
Mhm.
every single reader I've come across has been absolutely amazing. Like I've never had an experience like that in my life in
Yeah,
work where everybody is just enjoying their time.
Yeah.
So you absolutely continue with the series so that you can chat to more authors and then more readers can kind of get involved.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy almost release day. I cannot wait
Thank
for everyone to read these
you.
chapters. Thank you for your time. This has been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for setting it up and for
Okay.
inviting me.
Oh my God, thank you. It was so lovely to meet you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.